Welcome to the New in Lynchburg podcast, the podcast that's dedicated to helping you get the most out of this great city, Lynchburg, Virginia. You'll get highlights on upcoming events, interviews with interesting people. You'll learn more about local nonprofits, and we'll keep you connected to all the new things going on in Lynchburg. Here are your hosts, Josh and Ray.
Welcome to the New in Lynchburg podcast. I'm Ray Gonzalez, and with me today is Josh Rose and Natalie Rogers, and we are New in Lynchburg.
This podcast is sponsored by newinlynchburg.com, your source for all things Lynchburg. If you're looking for upcoming events, local deals, things to do all in the Lynchburg area, make sure you check out newinlynchburg.com.
Well, hello, everybody. It is now Christmas time, and we are going to have a Christmas-themed podcast. So we're going to talk about a bunch of different Christmas things today. We've got some traditions, some fun stories. We're going to talk a little bit about being married at Christmas time versus single. So some fun there. We're just going to have a little bit of fun with it. So why don't we do this? How about Ray? You are married.
That's true.
Why don't we talk about your Christmas as a single man versus Christmas as a married man?
So Christmas growing up in my house was always really fun. There were four of us. There are two girls and two boys in my family. And we would always, the older three, we would always get up and we would wake up the youngest one because my he's 7 years younger than me. So he was real little and we'd always wake him up and he had no clue like it was even Christmas, because he was so little. So you'd wake him up and he'd be like, we're like, it's Christmas. He'd be like, oh yeah. And we'd all go out and into the living room and we'd see the tree for the first time. That was always really cool. My parents had taken the time or Santa had taken the time to set up all the Christmas presents, and it was just really cool. You start looking, and we couldn't touch anything, but we could go out there, and then we'd all sit there and wait till like my parents told us like, hey, no, do not get us up before 7 o'clock or whatever time it was, and we would be out there early, and we'd have to wait till we'd be watching the second hand to turn till that 7 o'clock hit, and then we'd run in that room and wake them up. It was just really good times. Then we would all like have our little spots in the living room where we'd have our pile of toys and open everything up, and then we would always forget about stockings because my parents always did really great with putting things in stockings as well, little gifts in there. So we'd be like, we're done with our presents. It was great. And then stockings, and we'd all run over there and grab our stockings, and I'd have like a deck of cards and candy or a shaving cream or whatever, that kind of stuff, little gifts like that. So
you're 7 now, son.
Yeah. Close. Seventh grade maybe. So that was really growing up. It was always like that. And then we go over to my grandparents' house, have a big breakfast, and then Christmas all over again, like Christmas 3 or 4 times in one day. So it was awesome. And then when I'm married, my wife is Italian, so they do Christmas mostly on Christmas Eve. So that was something that we don't do as a family. So it kind of worked out for us because we could spend Christmas Eve with her family, and then we could do Christmas with my family the next day. So that was actually worked out really well. And you have to blend traditions when you get married, right? You have what you've done and what you know, and then what your spouse does.
So are there any traditions that like your family now has because of the blending? Like something that's just unique to your family?
I think so. I mean, we always had a real tree growing up, but now we have a fake tree, and it's fine for me. I don't mind. I mean, I don't have to clean up any needles now. So that's something that's different. But yeah, we're always making new traditions because we're blended, and also because we're down here. All my family's still up in New York, and so we have to travel and things like that. But we definitely are making our own traditions and taking what's best for our family and doing that, as opposed to just, I've always done this or I've always done that. Sometimes you have to give up a little bit, but it always is great to make new traditions and for your own family.
Yeah, for sure. My family, I grew up in California, and we were Christmas Eve people. Everything was Christmas Eve. Now, my dad, he worked a lot of graveyard shifts.
Yeah.
So he was up at night anyway, just naturally, like that was his time when he was awake. So he was excited about giving us presents, and he's already up and everything. We would be over at my grandmother's house with all the extended family, having fun. It'd be like midnight, time to go home. And my dad would just be like, do we want to do Christmas presents now? And he would sneak away and make sure everything, Santa had already come before we got home. So we'd get home at like midnight, 1 o'clock from my grandmother's house, and all the presents would be like, magically under the tree from Santa. We would open everything that night, and then we'd just sleep in. My parents, they didn't have to wake up early because all the toys were all fresh, and the kids, we kind of woke up when we were done.
When you wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, fell asleep in a pile of Legos at 3 a.m. So that was pretty cool. Now, when we got married, I got married to my wife, so I guess we both got married. Things kind of changed a little bit because her family is a mourning family. Mm-hmm. There's something wrong with that, Ray.
I agree. I'm a night person myself.
I am not a morning person. In fact, we went to wake up my daughter the first actual morning. We did Christmas morning, and she's just, I don't want to get up. And it finally took her minutes to realize it was time to get up. It's funny. Yeah, a little bit of change there, but she has a lot of extended family where I don't. So that was something unique to me. Natalie, what about you? You just got married.
Yes.
So have you experienced this yet?
I have not.
It's your first Christmas.
It's my first Christmas as a married woman. So something that I didn't do growing up is stockings. I don't know if it's a Hispanic thing. I don't know what it is. My husband wants to do stocking stuffers, and I didn't know what that was. I always thought stockings were super cool, but I always thought that they were for the rich people.
Well, you were in Miami, so you just wore sandals.
I guess, yeah,
Yeah,
all
they
the
don't have
time.
stockings.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that might be why.
I can see what's in that sandal.
But yeah, we're actually going to spend Christmas with my family. We spend Thanksgiving with his. So my family is a Hispanic family, so we're Cuban and we're loud. And so we kind of celebrate something called Nochebuena, which is a Christmas Eve night. It's pretty much a Thanksgiving dinner, but Christmas Eve, where all the families come together that night, pretty much having like a Thanksgiving dinner, really. And we all hang out, and then we go to sleep like normal, and we wake up early for Christmas morning. But night, we kind of, all the extended families give each other the presents and stuff, put it under the tree, and then the next morning is when you open everything up. So instead of going from house to house to house, everything just gets left where it's supposed to be left, so the next morning, you just open up everything.
Cool.
See, my family on my dad's side, that's the Portuguese side, and my grandmother would always go to mass, and I didn't grow up Catholic, but we would go to mass with her, and I just remember being so bored at mass and just waiting, can we go and open presents?
Midnight mass.
And
Oh, man.
it wasn't really midnight mass. It was at I don't know, maybe from 6 to 7 or
o'clock
something
mass.
like that.
Wow.
But it was just I don't speak Latin, and then we'd finally get back, and we'd all be having linguiça. You ever heard of linguiça?
No.
It's kind of like chorizo, not nearly as spicy, but like a
chorizo.
kielbasa, and it's a Portuguese sausage. So that was something we always had at Christmas, was that and fava beans and different
Wow.
Portuguese stuff. So that
That's
was
cool.
kind of fun.
Yeah, stuff you don't have
cool.
normally part of the year. Yeah,
Exactly.
One of the things that I remember about, you talked about growing up and then when you become an adult, I remember there was a shift for me when I actually had a job, but I was still single, and I was able to buy gifts for everybody in my family.
Oh, yeah.
Because before, maybe you just got some from your mom or dad, but then you actually got to go out and buy gifts for everyone because you had a little bit of money. And I just remember man, I really like giving gifts. It was I always like getting gifts. Obviously everybody does, but that was the first time I'm man, I really enjoy giving other people gifts and having them see what I got them and picked out for them. And the cool thing is my grandfather, who's 83 now, we're really close, and he has, I think it had to be 2003, 2004. I bought him this Sony radio because he always would be outside in the workshop, nailing something, hitting a board, doing some kind of project out there. And he would always listen to Rush Limbaugh. So I would always, and he had this radio that wouldn't, so I bought him a brand new radio so he could go out there and always have Rush when he was out, doing his thing in the workshop. And to this day, he has that radio always with him.
Now, kids, a radio is like a podcast.
If you don't know, yeah. But it's great because you turn over on the bottom of that radio, it says Christmas 2005 Ray or something like that, with my name on it. So it's really cool that even 12, 13 years later, he's still has that radio, and he sits in his recliner and is sitting right there in the on the chair when he sits there, and he's out with him when he goes outside. So really cool that gift that you give continues to bring joy even to me all these years later.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to make holiday cards for everybody with stick figures. And then Christmas Day, instead of giving a present, I was super proud of my stick figure holiday cards. Here's one for mommy, and here's one for you, and you, and you. And then as I got older, now it's oh, holiday cards. Oh man, there's so many. I can't draw stick figures anymore. I actually have to write words. What do I do?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of funny, just the different traditions. When we would give presents with my dad's side of the family. Maybe like 15, 20 people. But I only had one cousin, and we had like our first cousins and stuff there. But it was about maybe 20 people. And because there wasn't that many of us, we would take our time and like open one present at a time.
Yeah.
And then someone was Santa, and the whole process would take like 2 hours, and we'd be like, oh, what'd you get? And everyone like pass it around and be like, oh, slippers. Those are just so fantastic. So I remember that. And then with my wife's family, there's like a million of them. And so if they sat there and just waited one at a time, like it would never get done.
Yeah.
And the first time I was there, I was like so shocked. Like all of a sudden it was just like wrapping paper everywhere and
Free
kids
for
going
all.
nuts. And I'm just like, what is happening?
That's funny. So what about like the best gift that you've ever got or that you remember getting? Natalie, what's the best gift that you ever got on Christmas?
Man, that's a hard one. It wasn't, I guess it was a gift, but not really. I think it was like my first or second year here. I couldn't afford to go back home for Christmas. And someone just like was like, oh, I heard you you can't go home for Christmas or something. Like, here's some money. And then it was like an envelope with like $300-$400 for me to be able to drive back home. And I was like, what? This is insane. So I think that was probably my favorite present so far, just because I was able to go home and just hang out with my family.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
That's such a sweet and appropriate answer. Mine was a shiny red bicycle. I love that bike.
Well, as a kid, then there's probably different ones.
A Murray bicycle.
A Sega Genesis now. Yeah.
So I remember my dad like hid these bikes for like a month over at someone else's house, and he was just like so excited. And then we came back from like from Christmas at my grandmother's, and then like all of a sudden the bikes are there like right in the living room, all gleaming with bows.
Yeah, I think bikes are definitely huge. Like for kids, when you're growing up, you have that bike you get one during Christmas time. But
the freedom of the bicycle.
Well, my gift was, I don't know if I can't say this is the best gift, like, sentimentally or anything like that. But the biggest gift, or like the most expensive gift or whatever that I remember, was I got a go-kart one year.
Nice.
So, and I think I got socks and a go-kart because, like, you can't get anything.
Driving socks.
Yeah, because, that's it. Once you get a go-kart, like, it's not fair because all the other kids didn't get something big, but they got to ride it anyway. But so it was cool because my parents, ended up being in the garage underneath a tarp or whatever. They would give me all these clues, like, go check in the basement or whatever. And I'll go down there and there'd be like a helmet, go check wherever. And it was something else that was related to the go-kart, but it wasn't it. And then
Gasoline.
Yeah. No, I don't think it was that. But and then finally I went to the garage. It was like unbelievable, like cool, and then it was like a Citgo body, like fiberglass body, with gas motor, and that was really cool. So,
that is awesome.
Yeah, it was a great gift.
So what about you guys' favorite Christmas memory?
So this one's kind of funny, and
is it going to be funny to us or just you?
I think so. So for Christmas one year, my parents were all about like just doing everything, kind of giving to others and doing all kinds of stuff. And we were on board with that. I mean, we used to like give food away to people that needed it and, anonymously and stuff like that. And we were excited about that. Well, one Christmas, we were just a little bit too young to kind of see the whole benefit of it. And so like, I think part of it was just the logistics weren't done right and not enough preparation and everything. But like for Christmas, we like unwrapped these presents, and I don't even remember what they were, but they were kind of lame, just like little stuff. And then it was like the big family present, and it was like we were sponsoring like someone for a year, and that was it. And we're just like kind of so anticlimactic. We're just kind of like, I feel bad because this is a good thing, but I kind of wanted something, So I remember that, and I think to my kids, like, I'm not going to do it quite that way, or if we do it, we'll do it maybe not at Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
At least not as the big present.
Sure. And that's so tough too, because your parents try so hard and you try not to feel bad. I remember there were times where you just, it's so horrible now. You think, man, why did I feel bad because I didn't get whatever thing,
Yeah.
It was more just the like we expected something,
Yeah,
and then
sure.
didn't, and it wasn't that we like needed anything or really wanted anything, and it wasn't about like not being selfish. It was just surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. And as a kid, that's what you look forward to.
Something that I remember too is we would always get like a gift for everybody, or this one's for the boys, this one's for the girl, something like that. And that was always fun to get those presents for the family. I mean, usually it would be like a big game or something we could all do as a family, or a bunch of DVDs or something like that we could share, all do together as a family. I think that's really cool when parents or people give like dual gifts because they think, oh man, here's something you guys can do together. So that's definitely something that I enjoy.
Yeah, one year my brother was around 5 years old. I was maybe around like 7 or 8. And the grown-ups thought it would be funny to put coal in one of the presents. Because my brother was behaving bad or something that day. It was his first present, and so they gave it to him, and we were all like sitting around him, like waiting for him to open it, and me being a big sister, like, I want to open it with you kind of thing. And so he opens it up, and it's coal, and he just starts crying. And then I start crying with him, and I'm like, but he was such a good boy this year. Why, Santa, why? And we're like both like crying there while all the grown-ups are looking at us. And we're like, but he was so good. He should be on the nice list. And we were just, it was horrible. It was such a sad joke. So don't do that to people.
All right, good to know. I think if I gave my son coal, he'd be like, can we go light this on fire outside?
Yeah, no.
So one year we went to a cabin, and it was like my aunt, uncle, cousin, my grandmother, and then our family. So it wasn't a lot of people, but it was like my dad, that family, and then my aunt and that family, and then my grandmother. And it's this big old cabin like up in the mountains. And no snow. This is California, but there happened to not be any snow. And it was just so fun because it was like new, unique. We're up in this cabin. It's Christmas time. I just remember like the fun time there. All of a sudden there was a sound on the roof, and we all ran out to look for Santa, and we came back in, and the presents were there. It was crazy. So it just, being able like that destination. I don't remember the presents. I think we actually got a Nintendo, like an NES. Like the original one.
I remember that
time,
original,
like Duck Hunt and
1990 or something when I got mine finally.
So, like that, that was cool, but it was more just like going and spending time with family and just doing something fun.
Yeah, it's for me like the memory, like what my favorite memory of Christmas is not one. It's like Christmas is the memory, like going over my grandparents, those smelling, we talked about the smells sometimes where you smell something like that fire burning in my grandparents' house. I'd have that smell and it brings me back right to that spot. And just all the memories together on Christmas just make it such a great time for me to remember all the Christmases, all the presents, all the family, and how it grows over time. And people get married and new people are added, or people are born, and you remember those times. So I think that's what makes Christmas so great, is when you have the all the memories you can think of, and it just makes you joyful and has that impact on you emotionally when you think about it. So I think that's what it is for me. It's not one thing; it's Christmas altogether.
Yeah, just the feeling of Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. So next thing here, what is your favorite Christmas movie, Ray?
My favorite Christmas movie, it's probably one of my favorite movies of all time, is It's a Wonderful Life. So I know it's not even like really a Christmas movie. It kind of became a Christmas movie over time, I think. But, just something about that overcoming, and at the end when he says, Merry Christmas, Emporia, whatever, it's just like, it just gets, I'm a kind of emotional guy sometimes. So it just gets me. And it's like, hey, to be thankful for what you have and be thankful for life. And we really are truly blessed, even when things might not be working out the way you want them to. We can always change our perspective and be really thankful for everything that we've got.
All right, Natalie, Christmas movie.
Man, it's just really hard to pick one.
You only get one.
You can't say Elf or something.
It can't be the same as Ray.
I'm not an Elf fan. Sorry.
It's a Wonderful Life, the second.
The same one. I'm a romantic comedy person, so I would probably say one of those movies.
Like all the Hallmark movies ever made, Christmas, whatever?
Like all of those. Yeah.
All right, so my wife was watching Netflix, and they have a ton of like Christmas cheesy ones, and I'm like listening to it as I'm like, doing something else. And I'm like, the main character was singing, and I was like, is that a joke? Are they like being bad on purpose? She's like, no, not really. And it was so bad. So are those the kind that you like, or is there like a specific one?
I mean, no, not that bad.
And they only have like 5 actors, though. There's the same actors in all those movies.
Yeah, it is. Actually, okay, this is my favorite Christmas movie, but it's kind of sad, but it's Jack Frost. So I do like Jack Frost.
I have not seen that.
Newer one, I guess?
No, is that what it's called? Maybe it's not called Jack Frost, but
either way, I haven't seen it.
It's the one where I can't, it's an old movie.
Well, new to me is different than new.
Has it been in the last 10 years?
It's from 1998.
Oh, really?
So it is pretty, it's like the dad turns into a snowman.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
It's kind of sad, but it's a good one.
All right, I will have to check it out. My favorite, it's A Christmas Story.
That's a good one.
Good old.
Maybe people are going to hate me for this. I don't like that movie.
My dad has a leg lamp. Let me just put it that way.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's just silly.
I just don't like it. People are like, oh, it's the greatest, and I watch it, I'm like,
you either like it or you don't.
Yeah.
It's just one of those.
So Christmas movies, we had 2 traditions growing up. Actually, 3 movies that we would watch every single year, all the time. And I don't know if everybody did, but the claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, we'd always watch that one. With silver and gold and all that stuff. That was always
silver and gold.
Those are great. The great movie, the claymation Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
I got to talk about that movie real quick because it's hilarious. So we always make fun of it when we're watching it. The kids are just mesmerized, like they love it. And then my wife and I are in the background. I want to be a dentist. We don't want a skinny Santa. Eat. So I just find that one hilarious. And then the kids are like, all into it, taking it serious. So it's a good one for the family.
It's a great one. The other one was March of the Wooden Soldiers with Laurel and Hardy. You guys ever seen that one?
I haven't.
I have. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's a great one where they have the bogeymen.
Yeah.
We'd always watch that. So that was another good one. And then this is one that I don't know if many people have seen, but we would watch it even when it wasn't Christmas time. And it was The Little Troll Prince.
I have not seen
that. It's like Hanna-Barbera. And we watch it now. My wife saw it and she was like, what are you guys watching? But for us, it was like the greatest thing ever. It was like maybe a half an hour show, but we thought it was great. The Little Troll Prince. If anybody's ever seen The Little Troll Prince and they know what I'm talking about, leave a comment below because we want to talk about Little Troll Prince.
All right, let's switch. How about your least favorite Christmas song that other people like?
Ooh.
My wife's is "Mary Did You Know."
I think
it's not a bad song. Like the words are good. It's just something about it.
I'm trying to think of one that.
I mean, Jingle Bell is already kind of
Jingle Bells is old
getting old. Yeah. Jingle Bell Rock.
Jingle Bell.
Yep, that one.
Jingle Bell Rock. Oh,
I mean, it's a good song, but after years and years.
Yeah, I get tired of all the remakes where they try to make it their own version.
No, I like the old versions. I like the.
It's got to be tradition.
Yeah,
you only listen to it once a year. Just it can be the same.
Yeah, and it was a whole phase of all those people coming out with Christmas albums. Like they had to. It's like you guys don't have to. It's good to have tradition sometimes. Like listen to those, ones that my mom listened to when she was a kid and they were old. Those kind of ones I like.
Frank Sinatra?
Nah, I can't remember the guy's name.
Louis Armstrong?
No. Louis?
Bing Crosby.
Dean Martin?
No.
We're running out of names.
Michael Bublé. No, I'm just kidding. Bobby? Andy Williams? Nat King Cole?
Apparently it was not sung by any. All right, you know what I found the other day? On sale, $5. Special is the Chipmunks. I had the actual record, like the vinyl record.
Yeah. The record with
it's got the Chipmunk Christmas song and all the chipmunks.
Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome.
Did you know that all the chipmunk voices are actually the creator guy just done on a, he just sped them up so he'd talk slow and then he'd speed it up so it sounded high pitch.
Oh, yeah?
Wow. That's cool. Good to know.
Another movie that we used to watch around Christmas is Home Alone.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah, huge movie around the Christmas time.
My kids have not seen that yet, and I think my son would get a kick out of it.
Well, then he would try to do it.
That's the problem. That's why they have not seen it yet.
So a lot of great Christmas memories that we all have. We hope that you guys are thinking about some of the memories that you had with your family during the Christmas time. So let's think about some of the events that are coming up around Lynchburg in this area this year, because we can make new memories here where we are. So Josh, what is your pick of the week?
Sure. There's a lot of great stuff coming. Now, one thing I want to say before I do the pick of the week is we are revamping our calendar. And we did a lot of testing on that, and there's going to be a much cleaner, easier to access calendar that we're putting out soon. But with that being said, my pick of the week is the Irving Berlin White Christmas, and that's going to be at the Masterworks Theater. If you want details, go to our website, newinlynchburg.com. Check out the events. You can find that and so many other events.
And that's going to be on December 14th through the 17th, all this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I think they have showings at 7 and then at 2 as well. So yeah, we have a lot of awesome Christmas events happening this holiday season. For more shows, for more events, definitely check out our Christmas guide. Also, we have some awesome content that was released this week. We have a page now called Local Christmas Specialty Drinks from local coffee shops here in the area. So definitely be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, that's cool. So a lot of the coffee shops are doing a lot of cool drinks this time of year.
Yeah, a lot of specialty drinks, lattes, teas, coffees.
Switching from pumpkin to peppermint.
Yeah,
exactly.
definitely. Yeah, it looks like some awesome stuff. I definitely have to try. We have the Christmas guide, obviously. You guys want to talk a little bit about the Christmas guide and what we have on there?
Yeah, now before I get into the guide, I just want to let you know, if you're listening, that it's actually snowing here in our, not in the studio, but just outside the studio.
It's not sticking
right now.
studio.
It's not sticking, but it's still nice to look at.
And Natalie keeps looking at it because she is from Miami and
I do.
she's not used to this stuff. So
It's
she's
really
a
cool.
little nervous.
I want to go outside and play and build a snowman.
It's not that much snow.
But they keep telling me it's not enough.
It's as soon as it hits the ground, it's melting.
But I could just...
Do you want to
I don't
build
know.
a snowman?
Yeah, I do.
You can't because it's not sticking.
But yeah, no, we also... we do have some awesome content on that Christmas guide.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good feedback from people. The greatest part for me is that we're getting to highlight a whole bunch of local businesses and gifts that they're doing, even sales and things like that. So a lot of great gifts that we have on the guide that you can check out if you're looking for that last minute a gift to get for somebody for this Christmas. So
Support local. There's some really cool gifts, some cool shops. You get to meet some new, people that are in town that are doing, bringing some stuff in we didn't have before. Also, one of our sponsors for the Christmas guide is Venue Cinemas, and that's a great stocking stuffer. I mean, the tickets are inexpensive, and that's something that you can get them now and then do, during the holiday break or anytime. So.
and they're doing a lot of cool movies for the holiday season. I'm actually going to try to go see It's a Wonderful Life, my favorite movie, during the week that they're showing it. So before Christmas time. So really cool stuff that you never saw on the big screen. You can see there at Venue Cinemas.
Yeah, and it's just more fun, I think, seeing it on the big screen than just watching it at home. Even with the big TVs now, it's still something about going to the theater.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing that we have is our top 10 Christmas songs and top 10 Christmas movies from your New and Lynchburg team. So you definitely want to check that out. If you're at home on vacation or during the Christmas time and your kids are bored, look at that list. There's a lot of awesome movies and a lot of awesome songs to listen to while you're cleaning the house, like what I've been doing.
Or just watch Netflix and find all the cheesy ones. You know? I think you'll find the one that I was talking about. So.
Yeah, I watched How the Grinch Stole Christmas for the first time last night.
Which one, the original or the
I don't know, the live.
Spoiler
Jim
alert,
Carrey
he
one?
didn't
Jim Carrey
actually
one.
steal it. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
That's another good one. That one. Charlie Brown's Christmas is one good one.
Yeah, I like
the
Charlie
movie
Brown.
too. Yeah.
Yep. So Josh, we came to the favorite part of our show.
Everybody's favorite part.
Yep. Well, at least our favorite part. It's the dad joke of the week. So what is your joke this week?
All right, the joke this week is going to be Christmas themed because this is a Christmas podcast.
Yes.
So are you two ready?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Go for it.
All right. Why did Santa's helper have depression?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because he had low self-esteem.
That's a good one.
Oh man.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
us growing up in the whole self-esteem era,
Yeah, I heard that so many times in health class. Here's the self-esteem chart.
Sure.
So guys, to check out all of our upcoming events, things to do, and find great guides like our Christmas guide, check out newinlynchburg.com.
This episode has been sponsored by newinlynchburg.com, your source for all things Lynchburg. If you're looking for upcoming events, local deals, things to do all in the Lynchburg area, make sure you check out newinlynchburg.com.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to the Christmas edition of the New in Lynchburg podcast. Thank you for listening to another episode of the New in Lynchburg podcast. Visit newinlynchburg.com for more episodes. If you want to stay up to date with what's going on in Lynchburg, then sign up for our free weekly newsletter at newinlynchburg.com/subscribe. Or follow us on Instagram at New in Lynchburg. You can also check us out at Facebook, facebook.com/New in Lynchburg. We will see you next week for another episode of the New in Lynchburg podcast.